I cannot believe that this is still going on as the Juan Soto saga continues. Winter meetings are underway, and we have some new reports surrounding the Blue Jays and other teams. And the offers at this point are getting absolutely out of hand. So, to break down all that and discuss the new reports surrounding the Jays. But before we get into all that, a quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. If you're enjoying Peter and I's daily Jays content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Peter, the situation is getting out of hand at this point is probably the word that I would use. We thought this was going to be resolved by now, and it is now Sunday afternoon. Reports are flying like crazy, some speculation, some actual reports. And at this point, offers are exceeding any number I thought was remotely possible for Juan Soto and any team, really. And the Jays are in the absolute thick of it here. But, Peter, we're going to dive into a bunch of reports today, and just kind of want to get your thoughts on what's going on here. I mean, we're seeing reports. We'll start with this one, that he's on the verge. This just came out from Jon Heyman. It's exceeding 700 million, probably going to reach 750 million. We're hearing some reports of 800 million, and the officials spoke in the condition of obviously being anonymous because they were not authorized to publicly comment. So basically, this is Juan Soto's camp saying this is where the numbers are, and we're seeing a bunch of different things. The Mets and Yankees, as of this morning, up their offers from 710 to around 730 million, specifically the New York Mets, and they are considered favorites to land Juan Soto, but multiple reports are indicating one team may have gone even higher. And I'm just going to get your thoughts on this, Peter, before we dive into some other things, because there are some very interesting rumors circulating surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays here. But what are your thoughts on this ridiculous, Juan Soto saga, Shohei Ohtani V2?
Well, it's crazy. And if you keep that screenshot up, you'll see that Fernando Tatis Jr. signed a 14-year, $340 million deal, which does look like a bargain at this point. And the sheer amount of money that we're seeing around Major League Baseball getting thrown around right now is just crazy. And we'll take a look at Willie Adames, who's another name. He got $180+ million. Now, we were expecting him to get paid, but it's just exceeding all of our metrics that we've been using, all of the current or past contracts that we've been comparing. So I guess this is just the new age Major League Baseball deal. If you're a superstar and you hit the open market at 26 years old, like Juan Soto is, you're going to get paid handsomely. And $750 million for me is a little bit too much for Soto, but I guess that's what it's going to take if you want him to sign on the dotted line. And we've even heard 800 million at some point, and that might be thrown around there as well. So it's absolute craziness. The Blue Jays, by all accounts, seem to have the highest offer as of right now, but I don't know what good that's going to do them in a couple of days' time. We heard that it would take the most amount of money, and when the Blue Jays were the ones that offered the most amount of money, it ended up not being the case. It ended up not being the one deciding factor that Juan Soto was chasing. So I don't know what to believe anymore. The winter meetings have officially begun as of today, and hopefully we get a decision later tonight or probably within the next couple of days at least. But we've been hearing this weekend or even Monday as the sweet spot for a deal to actually happen, and I think we're headed in that direction.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it might prolong itself to tomorrow, but you look at the deals that have gone down, some plan Bs are starting to go off the board, and Peter, we saw Tyler O'Neill. He is officially off the board now. He's, of course, gone, and gone to the Orioles, as well as Gary Sanchez, which not necessarily a Jays target, but also gone to the Orioles. It's interesting because you look at some things here now, and I want to dive into some of these rumors / reports. So obviously I was live yesterday night going over all of them, as we do this time of year. So Heyman on the Red Sox and Jays offer. It's possible that one of these teams might even be above the New York teams and win the 26-year-old superstar hitter. And every article he posts, he kind of says that at any time, the Jays could have the highest offer. And it's interesting because the Jays offer hasn't really been leaked. However, there was a report that came out from Moses Fabian. He is a Dominican reporter. He got something right last offseason that Jon Heyman actually, I think it was Teoscar Hernandez's deal to the Dodgers that he kind of quote tweeted and gave credits to. He said, Juan Soto signature. Blue Jays offer the most at 750, Mets 700, Boston close at 600. Juan's favorite team is the Red Sox, but it's not about feelings. So this report, and again, there was some still speculation, take with a grain of salt, was saying that the Jays are at 750, and then people didn't really know whether to believe it or not. We have some sources coming out, random people saying that they're going to 800 million. He has people from the organization they know, probably not true, but I wanted to show this because people are going crazy right now surrounding the Jays. I don't believe this. That being said, I almost believe this, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Peter. People around Jays land here. The Jays offer has yet to be leaked. It has yet to be leaked, and you can see this here. A report that also just dropped about a little bit ago. Though through the Mets and Yankees, like I showed earlier, one team has the highest offer, and my source tells me that that one team is the Blue Jays. So this would coincide with Moses Fabian's 750. It would also kind of lend credence to the fact that the Jays' offer has not been leaked a single time for Juan Soto, which I think is a positive at this point. And I'm pretty not confident, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jays at this point are ahead of Steve Cohen in the money department, and they're just waiting on him to decide. And ultimately, he might still go to the Mets. The Mets might match the Jays' offer, but I could see a world where, the Jays have been at 750. The Mets are slowly starting to climb up now to 710, 730, while the Jays are at 750. But right here, NFL Francella, he's followed by a lot of major reporters. Take it with a grain of salt. People are, again, it's that time of year, but he says his source says that the team that has the highest offer are the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and we've been hearing that the Yankees won't have the opportunity to match, but because it's the Blue Jays that have the highest offer, the Mets are going to get the chance to top that, and the Yankees are going to get the chance to top that. If it was as simple as what we've been hearing all along since the start of the free agent frenzy, if you want to call it that, the Jays would have had him by now. And the fact that they're still in the sweepstakes, the fact that they haven't been one of the teams that is, and I'll put it in air quotes here, eliminated, means to me that they do have the highest offer, because there are some disadvantages when looking at the Jays when you're comparing them to the Mets, the Yankees, or the Red Sox, for example. And I'm not saying, living in Canada, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's actually a great country to live in if you've actually lived here and experienced the Canadian culture before. So I don't think free agents really care that much about it. Okay. And New York and Toronto, they have similar weather. Let's not act like we're in the North Pole and New York is in the Southern Hemisphere. That's not the way it is. Okay. The winters are about the same level of harshness between New York and Toronto. So geography out of the question. Let's just take a look at the attractiveness of some of the other locations or some of the other destinations that Juan Soto's thinking about. So the Boston Red Sox, I don't think they're a great current major league club, but when you're signing on for 14 or 15 years, which is what we've been hearing, you take a look at the farm systems and the way that they've been developing players. I think the Red Sox have a leg up from the Blue Jays in that perspective. They have a better farm system. I think their outlook for the future is a lot better. But again, those things are hard to project. So you never really know that, which is why I think the Red Sox are kind of at the bottom of these lists that we've been talking about. Then obviously the fact that it's his favorite team too, that helps. And that's his childhood team, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Feelings aside. The New York Yankees, their advantage was that he was there last year. He went to the World Series with that squad. He's familiar with the city of New York, having spent a season there playing. That's an advantage that they have. And for the New York Mets, they pushed the Dodgers to 6 games, something that the Yankees were not able to do. And you top the fact that their owner has more money than anybody, and he's willing to go toe-to-toe with anybody and outlast any offer that is on the table from anybody. I think that is a positive in itself. So the Blue Jays are fighting an uphill battle here, but in order for them to stay in the sweepstakes and to give themselves a chance, they have to offer the most amount of money, which I've kind of been out on from my perspective, because I think if you go upwards of $750 million, it's going to be tough to address some of the other notable holes on your roster. But again, people have been commenting, Peter, what do you care? It's not your money. You're right. It's not my money, but I'm thinking about the team here and that there's a lot more work to do beyond just Soto. So the Jays have positioned themselves well. They, by all accounts, have the highest offer. I think they're going to give themselves a chance here, and that's all you can ask for at this point.
I could see them pushing up to 800 million, as crazy as it sounds. And if they really want Soto, maybe ultimately, unlike last offseason, the money is what makes the difference. And maybe all these reports about them being at 750, them approaching 800, will come to fruition. But
what do you think it gets to, Nick? Well, ultimately, what do you think is the absolute top? Or let me ask you, what is the furthest you'd be willing to go if you were in an owner's shoes right now?
Yeah,
Because I don't know.
I think he's going to sign with the Mets for probably 750, similar to what the Jays have now. My feeling is that the Jays have an offer at 750, and they're waiting for the Mets to match that offer somewhere near, because he obviously would prefer the New York Mets. That'll probably happen. And for the Jays, the max I'd go, I don't know. I would just go to as high as it needs to go, 760, 770, but defer all the money. Now, I don't know if Soto even wants to defer it, but we've seen some reports from Shai Davidi. But my gut feeling, something like 15, 16 years, 750, 760 million dollars for the New York
Crazy.
Mets. And I think the Jays have the highest offer right now. And I think that they're just waiting for the Mets to match it. And if the Mets don't match it, I think he's a Toronto Blue Jay.
Well, what a world we live in. Why we should have dedicated
I know.
ourselves to being baseball players, man. And I did. I tried. I just didn't have it at the end of the day. But things could be a little bit different financially if we maybe took the sport a little bit more seriously, if we dedicated our livelihoods to it.
Yeah. Ultimately, we're going to know in the next 48 hours, I hope. I mean, we were hoping it would end by today. It could happen at any time, but it seems like, Peter, at the end of the day, the Jays put their best foot forward, but I know for a lot of
Yeah.
fans, and myself included, that might not be good enough here, but we'll keep you up to date with all the latest news, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and let us know down below. Do you think the offers are getting too crazy? Let us know. See you guys later.